One word. One hypnotist, Chris Jones. One word. Let's talk about life because, you just had a friend that passed away, a 33-year-old young man that had brain cancer and had a family around. And, it kind of puts life into perspective, I think.
It does. What do I say? I'm excited. I'm hoping to see some kids from high school. Ask them, what's new in their lives, if they have families, if they're married. That's one of the good parts of a funeral.
It's an opportunity to reconnect with people that you may have lost connection with.
Yeah. And hopefully, I hope this is me being selfish, but I'll say something nice to his wife because she knew he was a nice guy. But there's something about all these people coming together for the saddest birthday there is. But it should be something of a party too.
When I die, I told my wife when I die, I said I'd like to have a couple of kegs there and a couple of bottle of booze because I want it to be a celebration. I want it to be memories of times that people had with me rather than feeling down and lonely and shitty basically that somebody died.
Right. Yeah, we could. I remember when I was in college, I made people in my class write their own obituaries. And some of them thought it was super weird, and some of them were like, this is actually kind of cool. But write your obituary, see what that looks like.
So you had people do that?
What did you do?
What was the reason that you had them do it? Why were you in charge of that moment?
I was just in charge of one of the residence halls, aka the dorms. And I was like, guys, you're going to be living here for a year. You're young people. Let's start thinking about what we're going to do with our lives. And I remember for one class, they made me write an obituary, and I was like, I will pass this on. So write down what you're going to do.
Let me ask about that then. So, if you had the chance to write your obituary when you were 19 years old or 18 years old, in that 17 years since then, in that 15 years since then, have you accomplished the things that you thought you would to this point?
Ooh. I thought I would go into the Peace Corps. And I definitely thought that I was going to die before my parents. I had that hang up, whatever complex that is. I thought I was going to die at like 23 years old in the Peace Corps. I'd step on a landmine accidentally. That's where my brain went.
One of the questions...
Real happy conversation, Bob. Sorry.
No, that's cool. But because one of the questions that I always ask when I've been to my class reunions, I just had my 30th class reunion a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And one of the questions that I asked of my classmates, I said, has life gone as you expected? And that's one of those questions that you ask somebody, and it really makes them contemplate. Because, I think a lot of people probably have the same thoughts that you did about dying, because I'm 50 years old now. I never thought I'd make it to be 50. I never thought I'd make it to be 40. I never thought I'd make it, because
now that you're 50, what would you tell your younger self?
To live life, to be the best you that you can be, and that shit doesn't matter. The stuff that a lot of people get all hung up about and pissed off about and worked up about and lose sleep over, it doesn't really matter. The things that I've worried about in the past are things that never really truly happened. They're things that I've just wasted a lot of time on. And, I think about that, and I think about how I've worried myself sick over stupid stuff in the past that, honestly, Chris, most of the things that you worry about and you put effort and time into on the negative side never happen.
Yeah.
But so expend that energy to a positive thing and put yourself around people that are smarter than you, more successful than you, and you will be on that path. And that's why, I think I've left a lot of my friends, unfortunately, on the wayside because I've kind of started living that way, trying to, put myself around better people in order to become a better person myself. Because the old rule is, the old adage is, put yourself around those 5 people that, and you're some of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But guess what? That's why I'm trying to spend more time with you, because I think you're a hell of a great person, and you're one of those people that will just being around you helps people out, I think. And so that's kind of the way that I think.
a nice compliment. Thanks, Bob.
Hey, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. I think that you've known me long enough to know that,
Yeah, that's true.
That, my initials are BS, but I'm not a bullshitter. So, in your
never realized till now that your initials are BS.
Are you kidding me?
I just thought it was great. I'm swearing my life.
My radio show used to be called BS with Bob Schmidt.
I know that. BS with Bob, yeah. But with Bob Schmidt, I was like, yeah. I don't associate you with bullshit. I associate you with, like, shooting the shit. And that's the difference.
Right.
I never made the connection.
Got it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. So
we're shooting the shit. But you're not full of it at all. So, my dad's initials are BMJ.
Right.
So he only knows BM for bowel movements.
Right.
I'm not confident he understands what BJ stands for. So I'm not going to tell him.
No, don't. That'll put us straight on the relationship.
That'll be a little strange. Lord help us.
Oh yeah, no kidding. So in your 33 years, what would you tell your younger self?
To relax. Like, oh my God, I was so uptight. I wanted to be God's best friend. I took the door off of my bedroom because I didn't want to jerk off. Like, I thought it was a sin. And so young Chris Jones took the door off the hinges so I wouldn't have any privacy, so I wouldn't masturbate. Like, that's how hardcore I was.
But I think you just wanted to be the best you that you could be, right? I mean...
Yeah, but you're 14, 15 years old. You got it. Your body doesn't know what it's doing.
True. And, honestly, I think that, I never thought that we'd talk theological when we're doing this, but, you look at some of that stuff, and I think telling somebody that masturbation is a sin is probably...
It's horrible.
It's because you put that strain onto a kid, and that's something that... I think that's why we have so many pedophiles and so much other weird things going on in this world, because there's that stigma that's put on things like that, You're
supposed to release certain chemicals. Like, I can hear an argument pro or against pornography. I can hear that argument. But there should be some type of release, because otherwise you're just testosterone and anger, and you're bumping into stuff. Like, I just know if I bump into this door, it feels good with my crotch. Like, what do I want?
Right. Yeah. Our conversations, Chris, sometimes go...
I was thinking this. Same thing. Like, how did
we end up talking about masturbation when we're talking about death and life? But I guess it comes down to laughter, food, and enjoyment, right? That's what life is all about. So we talked about part of the, we should just hit on food because we did laugh a little bit. What's your favorite foods?
Man, I can eat anything. I think Stacy and we got a little drunky drunk last night. When I get drunk, I just eat everything in the house. And she makes everything, which is wonderful. I can only tell she's drunk. And, like, she made, I don't know, 27 pitas, like gyros and pitas for two people. And I'm like, sweetie pie, like, I love your cooking, and it was fantastic. Now, usually I like something vegetarian. I'm still the black guy who likes chicken, but grilled chicken, not fried. But yeah, vegetarian or chicken.
My brother was a vegetarian. He did the same thing. Then he ended up eating regular bacon because regular bacon's better for you than other bacon. And pretty soon, I think he's eating everything now.
I believe it. Does he feel better, though? Like, that's the thing.
Right.
Does eating meat make you feel better?
I don't know. It makes me feel better, so I'll grab a bite of whatever. I'm just kidding. I'll eat what I usually do. Eat whatever. I mean, I know that when I visited you in Chicago, I ended up eating stuff that I'd never had before.
I believe that.
I mean,
I know we went to the Jolly Pumpkin.
We went to Ja Grill.
Oh, Jamaican food. You never had Jamaican food before.
I never had Jamaican food before, so I went to Ja Grill, and that was good food. We ate at that Jolly Pumpkin, which that pizza there was not very good, and the beers were. That
was terrible.
The beers were all weird too because they were all sour mash beers, and I'm a beer drinker myself, but the sour ones just weren't the best. I didn't think.
Some days you get it, some days you don't.
Exactly. So what else are you gonna say when you meet your people that you see at the funeral?
I don't know. Part of me wants to to bring balloon animals and make a flower or two for the daughters. I think that's an easy contribution. I really hope the balloon then doesn't break. Oh my God. Make the kid happy. Give him a balloon animal. Make him a flower balloon. Then it breaks. Like, this is really the worst day of my life.
Do you think?
Go ahead.
No, when you're at a funeral, I mean, do you feel like you have to entertain everywhere you go?
If there's a child there, yes. I feel like I have to entertain or share. So yesterday we went to a soccer game, and it was bring your dogs to the soccer game, which was awesome. So there were all these people who brought their dogs, and there were all these kids wanting to pet our dogs, and I felt like I had to instruct the kids the right way to greet a dog, you know? Slowly pull your hand out. Let the dog smell you. Make sure that you're okay. Stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So if I don't have to entertain, I have to at least educate.
So I think that's why your next career is going to be as a teacher, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I just have to pull the trigger and start applying to some places.
Do you need more education in order to do so?
Depends. If I'm going to teach at a private place, I can do that, and I'm good with my education. I just got back to my building.
But you think the education piece is fine? Do you want to go back to school and learn more?
Do I want to go back to school? I'd like to be Dr. Jones. I just don't. I like to be Dr. Jones. I just don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay for my doctorate.
Is there a way that you could work your career
Probably.
into paying for that?
Probably. I'm so lazy, Bob. Once I get into a groove, I'm just happy with that groove. When your life is easy, things are hard. Hey, I like that.
Is your life too easy, Chris?
No. There's definitely enough internal conflict. So.
What did you step on there? It sounded like you stepped on. It sounded like you stepped on on a rat or something.
The world's squeakiest door.
So how does somebody get a hold of you, Chris, in order to find out more, or in order to hire you, so that way you're one step closer to your doctorate?
Yeah. Hey, if you're out there, you're like, hey, he seems like a nice guy who has a master's degree. We will help him get an affordable doctorate. Social media, Chris Jones, or at one word, Chris Jones, or my website, Hypnotist Chris Jones.
Find entertainer and hypnotist Chris Jones at hypnotistchrisjones.com. The One Word Chris Jones Podcast, a podcast for higher production.